Hi, this is Mato. In this video I will show you game 3 from World Chess Championship 2013. In this game Carlsen had white pieces and he started with knight to f3. Anand played d5, g3, g6, c4. d takes on c4. Queen to a4 check, forking the king and the pawn on c4. Knight to c6, bishop to g2, and Anand played bishop to g7. Of course, defending the pawn is not a good idea, is it? How should white continue anyway? What do you think? Knight to e5 is very unpleasant. So Anand played bishop to g7, knight to c3, e5, making the room for the knight to come to e7. Queen takes on c4, knight from g to e7. Both players castled kingside. d3, h6, preventing bishop to g5. Bishop to d2, knight to d4. White really can't let black knight sit on d4. So knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, knight to e4, c6, bishop to b4, pinning the knight, bishop to e6, attacking the queen, queen to c1, bishop to d5, a4, b6, preparing c5 and shutting out dark square bishop. Carlsen captured the knight on e7. Queen takes bishop. Let's have a good look at this position. Who is better? Black has a bishop pair. Black also has a space advantage. And we would not exaggerate if we say that black is standing slightly better. What do you think? Okay. a5. Rook from a to b8. Let's take it back. f5 looks very tempting, doesn't it? Winning the pawn on e2. Let's have a look. f5. And after knight to d2, should black capture the pawn on e2? What do you think? Let's have a look. If queen takes on e2, then rook to e1. And if black decides to win one more pawn, then queen is trapped. What else? If queen goes to, for example, h5, then perhaps bishop takes bishop, and after pawn takes bishop, queen to c6, and white is doing well. Okay, so in the game we have a rook from a to b8. Rook to e1, defending the pawn, perhaps preparing e3. Rook from f to c8. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. Queen to f4. Rook to d8, preventing knight to d6. h4. King to h7. Knight to d2. White wants to exchange light square bishop, so the knight would be fighting against the bishop, which is blocked by its own pawn. Anand played bishop to e5, attacking the queen. Queen to g4, h5, queen to h3, bishop to e6, attacking the queen again, queen to h1. White queen is hammered, isn't she? c5, knight to e4, knight is coming to g5, king to g7, knight to g5, b5. Black plans to create pass pawn. e3. Pawn takes pawn. Rook takes on e3. It is black to move. This may be the critical position of the game. Black has a chance to win the pawn on b2. Would you capture the pawn on b2? Anand played bishop to d4, attacking the rook. Carlsen played rook to e2, defending the pawn. Let's take it back. If bishop takes on b2, then rook from a to e1, pressuring the bishop on e6. The game could have continued. Rook to b6, bishop to h3, then perhaps bishop to d4, perhaps now rook from 3 to e2, and then queen to f6. What do you think of this position for black? The pass pawn on b5 looks very dangerous. Is black winning? You can be the judge. Instead, Anand played bishop to d4, rook to e2, c4, knight takes on e6, pawn takes knight, bishop to e4, c takes on d3, attacking the rook, rook to d2, queen to b4, attacking the rook. It feels that black is better. What do you think? Rook from a to d1, bishop takes pawn on b2, queen to f3. Should I mention that Carlsen is 2 pawns down? Bishop to f6, rook takes on d3, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, rook to d8. Lots of exchanges here. Bishop takes on d8, bishop to d3, queen to d4, giving up the pawn on b5. Well, what is the alternative? If, for example, bishop to f6, then perhaps queen to b7 check, and after bishop to e7, queen takes on b5. So we have queen to d4, bishop takes pawn on b5, queen to f6. Is this move asking for a draw? Queen to b7 check, bishop to e7, king to g2. Perhaps now white stands slightly better because of the better pawn structure. Hardly enough to win. g5, pawn takes pawn, queen takes on g5, bishop to c4, attacking the pawn on e6, h4, and Carlsen played queen to c7. If bishop takes on e6, pawn takes pawn, and after pawn takes pawn, queen to d2 is also a draw. Queen to c7, h takes on g3, queen takes on g3, e5, king to f3, queen takes queen, pawn takes queen, bishop to c5, king to e4, bishop to d4, king to f5, bishop to f2, attacking the pawn, king takes pawn, bishop takes on g3, and the draw was agreed. Computer analysis have shown that the game could have continued. Both Houdini, you heard of Houdini, Houdini and David Copperfield liked this line: king to d4, and then bishop to e5 check, sacrificing the bishop, allowing black to attack with the king alone. Just kidding. And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.